that whole library of every game ever made on a PlayStation is now available portably. And then I'll say, okay, maybe, I'm on the toilet, I'm in bed, I want to play, Vagrant Story or something,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm on an airplane.
You remember the PSP, the PlayStation Portable?
Yes.
Right. Well, apparently they're making a PlayStation Portable 2.
I'm about it. I love portables. Love them.
So there's a new report saying that I'm going to read this verbatim. Says the new report is stating that Sony is actively working with AMD to create a new handheld. The new handheld will be in the same line as something like the Steam Deck, which obviously has been extremely popular. The handheld will be capable of playing PlayStation 4 games and some PlayStation 5 games with a patch, according to Moore's Law. Moore's Law is dead. It's an active development, so anything can happen. This is the interesting thing about this. This handheld is meant to be PlayStation 6 family of products, so it's years out.
Okay.
That's the thing that gives me hesitation here, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're talking about something from the PlayStation 6, but it plays games from the PlayStation 4 and possibly like some games from PlayStation 5, why even make it if you can't play games from that modern era?
It is interesting because initially I would think, oh, are they going to make portable specific games as they've done in the past? In this case, it looks like that's not going to happen. But I mean, it depends. Like, I think current PS5 era games kind of suck, but PS4 still has some good stuff. I can still see myself wanting one of those for that, especially if they do have some, at least on the eShop, some PSP, some PS Vita games that you can play on it. I think that will have a lot more of an appeal as well. I remember playing Daxter on the PSP. Great game. So there's a lot of games that people who didn't have a PSP or a PS Vita missed out on. So being able to play it on that, I think would be really cool.
George, did you ever play the PSP?
Yeah, I owned a Vita.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it to death. I didn't have that many games for it. The thing that would worry me about this story is A, it sounds like it's years away. B, Steam Deck already does this. So the only advantage Sony would have is exclusives, which everybody memes on them is like they don't have that many. I like my PlayStation 5. I use it every day, but I just don't like, it's not for me, probably. Like backwards compatibility is great. If I wanted to play my old Vita games, I have my old Vita anyway. I can't think of that many exclusives that aren't already available on Steam Deck. Like what is this going to do that the other consoles don't? Like Nintendo Switch 2, I assume, will be fully backwards compatible and maybe even offer graphical enhancements to like Tears of the Kingdom. You'll get even better graphics, which is beautiful. I want that. I'll pay a lot of money for that. But Sony seems to be very far behind the curve on this. It seems like a miscalculation to me.
I think the idea of making something that is still years, I mean, we're only in what, the second or third year of the PlayStation 5 at this point, second year maybe, and third year. So we're in the third year, and console generations usually last what, 6. So you're realistically looking at this thing being at least 3 years out. And then you're looking at it playing games from the PlayStation 4 era, which will be at that point, 8, 9, a decade out.
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I think it's admirable, but also I think that the Switch kind of has this market covered. And between the Switch and Steam Deck, you don't need anything else. Like we've talked about this many times on the show. What is the Switch? It is a Nintendo machine. It is best known for selling and playing Nintendo games. You don't play it for Call of Duty. You play it for Mario Galaxy and Mario Odyssey and Mario whatever and Zelda this and Metroid this. That's why Nintendo has it. Once again, Sony doesn't have that. Sony doesn't have those IPs that are willing, that when you look at the list of games that are sold on the PlayStation, the top 40 games are not done through Sony. They're done through various third parties. It's a giant mishmash. So I think this worked 20 years ago with the PSP. I don't think it works now. I think this is not the best idea.
Now, if I can play PS2 and PS3 games on it.
Yeah, but you know what sucks about that? They don't even let us play PS1, 2, and 3 on the PS5 right now. You have to have a PS Plus subscription, and you have to stream the games. You can't even download them.
Yeah.
I wanted to play New Vegas on PS3. It was emulating and streaming at the same time. And you know, there was input lag, it was annoying. But you can't play certain PS3 games and before with that lag. It's just some games are unplayable. They need to unlock, first of all, the full catalog. I don't know how they could do this legally, of all the PlayStation games from all time, put it on the PS5, and now tell me that whole library of every game ever made on a PlayStation is now available portably. And then I'll say, okay, maybe, you know, I'm on the toilet, I'm in bed, I want to play, you know, Vagrant Story or something, or I'm on an airplane. That would actually make me, because I can't play Vagrant Story right now unless I have the disc, but like I can't play it portably. No, I can. I have it on Vita actually. But like, why don't they just unlock the full catalog? Then I'll be impressed.
Yeah.
But why don't they do that now?
Well, I'll tell you this. We've said this many, many times. I think the first company that comes out, and Nintendo obviously has the best opportunity here. You know, they have their Switch Online, and they're slowly releasing these games. You know, for the
virtual console.
Yeah, it's more or less a virtual console. But,
I don't like that.
Well, I think if Nintendo was to make a Netflix style service that make it totally separate that from the Switch or Switch 2 or whatever, just make it its own standalone thing. It's called the Switch catalog or Nintendo catalog, whatever it is, Nintendo for life, whatever. And they just put all of their first party titles in that. And you made it a subscription service to have access to it, whether it's $10 a month, $15 a month. My God, people would be forking that money over so fast. I like, how much do you think Nintendo could charge for their back catalog of games? Just their first party game.
They're sort of doing that. I don't remember what the service is called, but it's very limited. They have certain games available every month per console.
Right. But I'm talking about the entire thing.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why they're not gatekeeping. That's right. Not the right word, but they want to create like a false scarcity. Like, oh, you got to keep subscribed next month. You don't know what we're going to release. And it's some random like game nobody wants to play.
Right.
They have to release their full catalog. Like, again, Steam Deck, every game ever made basically is on Steam right now. That's who you're competing with. And it's like we were saying with Sonic, the customers are clearly telling you, this is what we want. Please let us pay you. Let me take my money. Why aren't they doing it? It's like Disney with their stupid vault from years ago where they would only re-release certain movies, you know? And it's like, why are you doing this? We know you have it. Just release it. Why aren't,
right? But
they're trying to create this sort of like
false scarcity.
FUD.
Yeah, false scarcity, like you said, yeah.
I'm not going to say it's anti-consumer, but it's, you know, Nintendo does not have the best reputation as like, you know, loving their customers all the time. But like, just give us the full catalog. Let me play every game ever made. I agree with you. I don't even want the subscription service, although that'd be cool. I would just like to straight up buy every SNES game at $5 a pop, like we used to be able to on like 3DS and stuff. Just let me have it so that when I'm an old man in the retirement home, I'll bust out my Switch with every game ever made downloaded, and I'll just play it. That's all I want. Let me pay you.
You wonder if, like, when we look back on this, the last, I don't know, 20 years or so, right? 2006, they had the Wii U, or the Wii, and the Wii had the virtual console on it, and you can go in and you can do exactly what you said. You could download these individual games on your Wii. The problem is that nobody plays the Wii anymore. Right. So people have these catalogs of Super Nintendo, NES, Genesis games, etc. on their Wii, but once again, nobody uses it, so they're just sitting there as digital files at this point. But so I don't know. Good.
They could like try to say like legally we can't release certain games without like the company's permission and stuff. Maybe I would buy that, but I mean, if emulation exists, and I don't openly support emulation anyway, but like we know these games are available and they can be upscaled beautifully to like 4K. Watching like someone play through an Metal Gear Solid 1 in 4K is beautiful. But like, just release it. You can do it today if you wanted to, but I don't know why they don't.
All right. It's an interesting conversation, and it's one that we'll be having forever because no company's going to do it. no company's going to do it.
Time has actually flown by because the PS5 released in 2020.
Really?
It's already 4 years. Yeah.
Wow.
November 2020. So it's already flying.
That's still like three years, just over 3 years.
And also for PlayStation 5, like only games, there's at least 12 titles, so it's not that many.
In 3 years, they got 12 exclusive titles.
Yeah, at least 12, because I mean, there's probably like other like spin-offs within that title, or like second or third games or whatever. But yeah,
some of them are probably remakes too, like Demon Souls.
Yeah, so at least 12, which is not that great.